everyone, I'm Mario. Welcome to Reality Break. This weekend, X-Men Apocalypse came out, and we're going to talk about it today. Originally, I had said I was going to do a 2-week lead time from when a movie's released to when I do a review on it, and you know what? I think I'm not going to do that anymore. Just because I saw Captain America Civil War, and I really wanted to do a review on it, but it's been a couple of weeks. Haven't had time to go see it again, so I think I'm going to save that review for when it comes out on Blu-ray. This week, Memorial Day weekend was fantastic. Great, nice long weekend, and X-Men Apocalypse came out. This one is the Fox Marvel Studios trying to build a presence a lot like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Fox has mutants and X-Men and all that, whereas Marvel Cinematic MCU has Avengers and Iron Man and Captain America, all those guys. So after the tragedy that was X-Men Last Stand and some of the Wolverine movies, which honestly I didn't think were too bad, but a lot of people really hated them. They weren't very critically acclaimed, to say the least. Fox is trying to get their steam going. X-Men Apocalypse is another new one after a direct sequel to X-Men First Class and Days of Future Past. We have James McAvoy, Michael Fassbender, Jennifer Lawrence, Nicholas Hoult, and Rose Byrne, all reprising their roles. James McAvoy is Professor Xavier. Great character. He's very much an optimist. I really like this Professor X. Days of Future Past, he was really working through his demons. Now we are back to the hopeful and optimistic Professor X that wants humans and mutants to live together in harmony and work together. And so his school, he's building the school. The school has students now. The students are learning to live with their powers and learning to use their powers. Michael Fassbender, Magneto, also wonderful actor. He was just as a great Magneto. He has gone on and built a life for himself after the events of Days of Future Past, where he tried to kill the president. So obviously that's going to make him a very wanted mutant. And so there was some tragedy going on in his life. Again, this is a spoilery review. I'm going to go ahead and talk about stuff that happens, along with some of the opinions that I have about what maybe they should have done with the characters and what I liked and didn't like about it. Again, Jennifer Lawrence as Mystique or Raven, also great in it. Along with, again, Nicholas Hoult as Beast. I like him. He's geeky. He's funny. He was a lot of fun in both his human form and his Beast form, which were, he goes back and forth. Or actually, he just changes and kind of stays in Beast form for the rest of the movie. So some of the new talent that we have on board brings back some of those core X-Men into the movie. We have Ty Sheridan as Scott Summers as Cyclops, Sophie Turner as Jean Grey, and she was really awesome. Cody Smith-McPhee as a really, really good Nightcrawler. I was really impressed with his Nightcrawler. I thought they maybe could have used him a little bit more, but as far as his powers, his look, I really enjoyed those. And then as the foil to our X-Men, we have Oscar Isaacs making his appearance as Apocalypse, and Sabanur, or Apocalypse. He was really, really good in this role. He was really intense, really menacing. So him and his 4 horsemen, Alexandra Shipp as Aurora Monroe or Storm, and Ben Hardy as Angel, and then later on as Archangel. Olivia Munn as Psylocke, as well as Michael Fassbender as Magneto, which we already talked about him a little bit earlier. So anyways, I want to go a little bit more. So that's the cast. And again, there was a lot of characters going on in this movie. But one of the wonderful things about it was I didn't feel overwhelmed at any time. I didn't think they were trying to shove too much stuff into the movie all at one time. So the characters really got to shine. Some more than others. Unfortunately, I was hoping they would do a little bit more with some of the characters. But anyways, we'll get more into depth in that as we go along here. So again, James McAvoy as Professor Charles Xavier. He was great. I really like this Professor X. He's optimistic. He wants humans and mutants to work together and to live together, come to some sort of togetherness. I don't know. So he was really good. But again, there wasn't a whole lot of character growth with him. In Days of Future Past, I think he had a bit more character growth, whereas he was kind of fighting through some of his own demons. First Class was a great origin story and stuff, and so Future Past sort of expanded on that. And then in this one, he was pretty much the same character, and it was pretty much the same character, so there wasn't a whole lot of character development. But I'm not really, I'm not really disappointed in that, because I really think that this movie was more to expand the X-Men, expand the classic X-Men, and to get in some of that new blood. So there wasn't a whole lot of time spent focused on character development stuff for Professor X. We know he's Professor X. We know his motivations. We know what he's trying to do in the world. And so so we're just, we'll let him be. Though Michael Fassbender as Magneto, oh my gosh, he is just so good. I thought he was almost a little underused. As far as Magneto, he had gone on and he'd gotten away from his Magneto persona. He had gone, he was in hiding. He was just living as a human. I really felt for him in those scenes where he just wanted to live. He didn't want to be a mutant. And of course, unfortunately, at one point there, he uses his powers. He's seen by other people, and so they call the cops on him. And his wife and daughter die, and it's really a tragic scene. And you can just see the way he acts this scene out is just, oh my gosh, it's amazing. He's just, the pain on his face. Though one thing, I know, budget-wise and stuff, it's harder to do, but I really think that would have been a great scene for him to really get some of these Magneto, the super Magneto powers that he uses later on in the movie. In this scene, the cops come. They all have no metal on them. They have a couple of guys have bows with arrows. Apparently all wood or plastic tipped arrows, maybe? I don't know. Everyone else is carrying sticks, a rope, and so then they try to take him away. They try to arrest him. Earlier, actually, in the movie, he's talking to his daughter, and he's talking about what happened to his parents and how men took them away, and they show his tattoo on his arm from the concentration camp, telling his daughter, well, nobody's going to take me away. And of course, the cops come and they try and take him away, and his daughter's a mutant who apparently can control animals, and so she starts to freak out. And there's an accident. One of the guys releases the bow, and it kills his wife and daughter at the same time. And like I said, that scene is just, you could see the hurt on his face. It was just such a tragic scene. I was kind of hoping for a bit more of just the he goes from this, from sad and crying to just cold and menacing. And I was kind of hoping for something like he pulls the iron out of all these people's blood, just kind of in blood, not really like shooting blood, but just like this mist appears on, and they all die. Magneto seems to go from like bad guy to redeemed to bad guy to redeemed to bad guy to redeemed. You see, I don't know how they're going to make Magneto a bad guy, or how they would resolve Magneto from the original X-Men trilogy, or if just we've completely pushed off and gone to a completely different timeline after Days of Future Past, which is kind of what I think they're going for. Anyway, so Michael Fassbender was great as Magneto again. Jennifer Lawrence, good as Mystique. She stayed in her Raven persona most of the movie, I think just because of the makeup cost, time, and effort-wise. It's just a little easier for her to stay as Raven instead of Mystique. Just because, that's a lot of makeup and stuff that she has to do each time they want to shoot her as Mystique. But she'd kind of turned into a vigilante, someone who helped out mutants and helped them. Storm has a poster of Mystique, and she's saying that Mystique is her hero. She helps save mutants. She's like the savior of mutants. They definitely line her up as a leader of the X-Men. Jennifer Lawrence, she does a great job. She does a really good job. She's very inspiring. She's very strong character. So we'll see what they do further on, with our next movies coming up. Nicholas Hoult, again, Hank McCoy, the Beast, the nerd power on the X-Men team. He's Professor Xavier's right-hand guy. He's responsible for most of their tech. Again, he's just kind of a fun character. I really like Beast. Rose Byrne as Moira McTaggart was good. They left in that storyline from First Class where Professor X wiped her memory at the end of that, which is I think was kind of nice, and they left it going through the whole movie. So she had no idea who anyone was, and we have Mystique comes in, oh hey Moira, and she's like, do I know you? There's a lot of little like romantic goofiness going on with Professor X. Like Beast is like, so have you ever looked her up using Cerebro? No, I haven't. Okay, yes, I did one time. Evan Peters also reprised his role as Quicksilver, and man, they had that Quicksilver. Was it quick sequence, silver sequence? I don't know. I saw it online somewhere. Somebody was like, it's another quick sequence, silver sequence, and this one was done to "Sweet Dreams" by the Eurythmics. It was wonderful. Again, the scenes it was actually the scene in the trailer, and you see Quicksilver, and he's like, "Arr!" And everything's going by really fast on him. In the trailer, I kind of got the feeling like that was going to be like a scene where he's trying to get away from Apocalypse or something, maybe, or he's in trouble. But actually, he's going through, and they just do this whole fantastic sequence. It was a nice break in a lot of the seriousness. This one was a very serious movie, and that was a nice break. So I'm really enjoying Evan Peters. He did make it to the end. He is one of the X-Men now. So that'll be fun to see what they do with him next. That brings us to the new talent, or I don't know, is it new talent or is it classic talent? It's new for this franchise, but it is some of the more classic X-Men characters: Jean Grey, Scott Summers, Nightcrawler, and Jubilee, Storm. Sophie Turner was Jean Grey. She was really good. They talked a lot about her powers not being suppressed, but she's the most powerful mind Professor X has known. She had a vision of fiery death and destruction and some sort of presence. And so I'm like, oh boy, Phoenix. In one of the great things is Apocalypse sees the Phoenix Force coming from her, and says all is revealed. So I'm thinking definitely we got Dark Phoenix coming up here. Most likely. I'm really looking forward to that. If that's going to be the next series, or if that's what we're going to start leading up to. It's one of my favorites, one of my wife's favorite characters. Really impressive and a lot of fun. Let's see, Scott Summers, Ty Sheridan as Scott Summers. He was pretty good. It might just be me getting old though, and I was kind of thinking for part of his intro and part of his stuff, but man, he's kind of a little punk. I mean, yeah, he's scared and he's upset when he first finds his powers. Jean Grey, Nightcrawler, Cyclops, and Jubilee all go see a movie, which is Return of the Jedi, and it has one of the best jokes in the best jokes / dig in the movie. It is absolutely wonderful. But like I said, though, for that part, he was kind of a punk. He wasn't that more like classic kind of gung ho leader X-Men guy. But again, he is a teenager, probably getting old. I think he's a little punk sometimes. Anyways, so he was good though. He had some great chemistry with Jean Grey, and there was a little starting to their relationship together and stuff. I was a bit disappointed with Jubilee, as she seemed to just kind of be kind of Jubilee. What was it? She was kind of like a walking Easter egg. I mean, they didn't really do a whole lot with her character. Maybe we'll get to see more of her later in later movies. And but she didn't use her powers once in the movie, and she really didn't. She didn't go with them on the later missions, and towards the end of the movie she wasn't there, but she was featured prominently in the trailer. I think it was a little bit of oh hey look, we have Jubilee too, but we're not really don't know what to do with her yet. So anyways, that wasn't so great. I was a little disappointed with not seeing anything with Jubilee. Nightcrawler, oh absolutely, I love Nightcrawler. I liked his look. It was a little, definitely 80s, kind of Flock of Seagulls hair going on. When they first find him, he's in a cage. He's trapped in a cage match. Apparently, they put a limitation on him. He can't teleport through electric fields this time. So when they bring him out, he's in a box with batteries hooked up to it and electrified mesh all around it. And they bring him in. They open it up. They dump him out, and then they close the cage, which is also electrified. And he goes bam-fing. He teleports all around the cage, so he can teleport within this field, but he can't teleport through it. So that's kind of an interesting limitation that they've given him. It comes up a little bit later on with the whole Stryker sequence. I thought the look of him was very good. It was a lot like Alan Cummings' Nightcrawler in X-Men 2. He was, with all the scarred swirls and stuff. He does do some of the praying, which shows that piousness that Nightcrawler has. I thought his accent wasn't bad either, and again, it was a good Nightcrawler. I like the use of the tail. His teleportation power was just spot on. every time he did it, I just thought, "Bamf." That's just because there's so many characters to go through in this one. Ben Hardy as Angel, he was good. He was cocky. He was kind of a jerk. They didn't do the classic blue-skinned Archangel from the comics, but I think there was already enough. I think they just kind of said, okay, we got enough blue characters. We got Mystique, we got Nightcrawler, we got Apocalypse, and Beast. So enough blue guys. We'll just leave him regular. They used his powers pretty well in the movie. I thought that him and Nightcrawler, the fight in the cage actually was really good. They did, it was actiony. There was a lot of use of powers and stuff like that. And then they had a nice little rematch at the end. Alexandra Shipp as Storm. When we first see her, she's a thief. She idolizes Mystique, and I thought that was pretty interesting as like an origin. She has a good within her. I think they should have done more with her powers though, because she's a really powerful mutant. She doesn't just pretty much just made her a lightning rod. They made her like lightning bolt, throwing blasts of electricity around and stuff. But Storm, as from the old cartoon show, and so she really controls the weather. She does these. She can conjure a storm. She can conjure a flood. She can move clouds and tornadoes and stuff. And really all they did was just have her do a lot of lightning bolts and, stuff like that. So I'm hoping that maybe we'll see more of her using her powers a bit more specialty type. Because Storm is a lot more, she can do a lot more than just throw lightning. So hopefully we'll see more of that in further movies, as now she's, definitely a member of the X-Men. Psylocke. I honestly don't know a whole lot about Psylocke. I thought Olivia Munn did a pretty good job. She had the character spot on. She's the only character in the movie that has the spot on costume from the comic books, which I really, really liked. It was good to see that they would go with that. I mean, so far we have Deadpool, Colossus, Psylocke, maybe then a Negasonic Teenage Warhead with classic costumes, and I'm really let's go for that more. Let's go for that, Fox. The leathers. Not so great. Let's see the more classic costumes. MCU's doing it really well. And, people accept it. People don't think it's dumb and goofy to have, colorful and exciting costumes. So they really didn't do a whole lot with her character. But she did escape at the end. So hopefully we'll see more of her. Maybe she'll team up with some other bad guys later on, and we'll get, some other bad guy team go. That was terrible. Then, of course, we have Oscar Isaac as En-Sabah-Nur, or Apocalypse. It was interesting. I didn't remember much about Apocalypse because I didn't read the Age of Apocalypse comics. Sorry, guys. But I did remember just a little bit from the 90s cartoon. I just knew that he was a really powerful mutant, and but what they did with his story, I thought was really well done. They explained why he wasn't around and doing a bunch of stuff through the ages was pretty good. So I thought they did a good job. He was, trapped, sleeping for hundreds of years, thousands of years before he was awoken again. So I thought that they did a good job with that. Oscar Isaacs played him really well. He was very menacing. He was very, the makeup was great. It was spot on. The only thing though that I think they should have done was make him a little bit bigger. He was Oscar Isaac size the whole time. So that was one of my only complaints with him. I think they used his powers really well. I thought it was, overall, he was just, I don't know, there's not a whole lot for me to say. He was just good. One side bit is there was a scenes with Colonel William Stryker. Our good old Stryker is back, take everybody to Alki Lake, try and exploit their mutant powers and all that stuff. and they had this wonderful sequence with Weapon X. But this scene, though, it looked a little bit out of place for me. It was Hugh Jackman, it was Wolverine, but anyways, it was a little bit out of place, as in it was a lot more violent than the rest of the movie had been. This way, Wolverine no longer had lightsaber claws that apparently cauterized every wound that he stabbed somebody with, as like in the other movies. It was bloody. I mean, there wasn't like viscera everywhere or anything. I mean, it wasn't Deadpool, but he was stabbing guys. He was stabbing them in the face and, stabbing them in the gut, in the stomach, and, killing dudes, and there was blood on the floor, and there was blood splatters and stuff like that. And it was definitely a more violent scene. So I'm personally wondering if they went back and reshot that kind of in response to the reaction they got from Deadpool. Okay, and in a lead-in to Wolverine 3, okay, this is Wolverine. He's going to be violent. He's going to be, we're not doing like, he's going to run through and just a bunch of guys fall down dead with no blood at all. But it was at a point in the movie, though, where it needed to be a little excitement. It was close quarters. It was exciting. It was fast. It was menacing. I thought it was great. It was a wonderful scene. And that was all we get from him. But overall, though, the movie was great. I really enjoyed it. I did think it was a little heavy on the, hey, look, a 3D effect, which we did get a lot. I didn't go see it in 3D just because I generally don't go see movies in 3D. There was a lot of the, hey, look, it's a 3D effect, which was kind of unfortunate. I mean, you definitely saw it in the trailer, when Angel sweeps his wings and the blades come out and they're, oh, look, it's right at your face. Definitely in the Quicksilver sequences. That was all. You could tell that was like made for 3D, especially because they're doing a lot of time stopping and time, manipulation with his sequences. And that was kind of one of the only things that I had a problem with. Again, I don't have a whole lot of history with the comic books, so I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a fun movie. I thought it expanded the X-Men universe, brings back some classic characters, and sets it up for our next movie or our next sets of movies that's going to be happening here for X-Men and the Fox Studios. I'm kind of hoping, later on we get another movie and Deadpool's in that movie, and he's playing it straight the whole time because it's not his movie, but we get a little like high, a little high at the break the fourth wall just for a split second with him. Maybe I hope they bring the Colossus from Deadpool movie into this X-Men universe, because that one was just awesome. Definitely hoping for the Dark Phoenix saga. That's, what else can they really be doing at this point? Another thing, though, that I did like, speaking about the costumes again, is right near the end of the movie, they're in the danger room, and Mystique is she's still wearing leather, but she has a white panel on the front, which is more reminiscent of her classic Mystique costume from the comic books, which is like a white robe sort of thing. So we see that in the movie. Cyclops has like a little arm holstery sort of thing, and his visor, he definitely has the classic Cyclops visor going on. The other characters their costumes weren't really reminiscent of the cartoon or the comic book costumes, but those little changes definitely help me think that Fox is okay. We can allow a little bit more leeway as far as costumes and stuff are concerned with our characters. So I've talked a long time about this movie. It was a lot of fun. It was great. Go see it if you haven't. Well, if you haven't, I don't know why you're watching this, because there's a lot of spoilers I've just given away. So go see it and then come back and watch. Go see it and then go see it. Then come back and watch this video again. So I hope you've seen it. It was a great movie. Go see it a couple of times maybe. That way we can get more awesome X-Men stuff going on. So that'll do it for this week. So I'm sorry I haven't done any videos in a couple of weeks. Been going through just super busy, and I'm hoping to get this on a more regular schedule. And we'll talk about all kinds of fun stuff. Anything that can breaks up your reality just a little bit more and makes your life a whole lot more fun. So anyways, check me out on Facebook, Twitter. And subscribe to the channel. Definitely subscribe. I'll put it, I'm not sure where I'm putting it. Just subscribe to the channel. I'll probably put it over on this side. Also, check out Comic Relief Podcast. They did some more comic book based reviews of the movie, because they definitely know the comic books. Check them out. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Thanks. Don't forget to subscribe. I got more lights now. Whoa. I got more lights now. See how it looks.